level 2. Level 2, I want you to do the same thing. Look at the definition. On the second page are some examples. What I would like you to do is with somebody at your table, and Erica, you're welcome to kind of join this table if you need to for have a partner. I want you to look at those examples that I gave you and talk through which of these examples for you really exemplifies level 2 for you. I would also like you, if you feel comfortable, to maybe discuss some ways that you have brought this type of activities and knowledge into your classroom. So how have you in your classrooms engaged our students in true mental processing? So that goes beyond just recall, but again, creating their own formulas maybe. Showing our students and creating ways for them to approach a problem. Okay, so look at that and then start having some conversations with the people at your table. We need to make sure everyone knows how great and amazing you are. So is there anyone who would like to share first from the slide, from the examples from DOK, maybe 1 or 2 things that really brought it home for you? So not your own personal example first, but an example from the slide that says DOK 2 examples. Of those examples, which one brought it home to you? Anyone want to share? Okay, we have Erica and Herman.
Yep.
Okay, so Erica first.
So the example that brings it home for me is predicting a logical outcome based on the information in a reading selection. And I chose that one because I think it's one thing to read a story and to know what's happened in the story, but when you are now forced to make an inference, make a prediction, it shows that you have a deeper level of understanding. You're predicting what's going to happen next because you really understand the themes that are captured in the story.
So I can end the workshop right here and right now because if everyone just knows and understands what Erica said, I have done my job. That is a really big piece. So she said it exactly the way it is. No matter how hard the reading may be, simply comprehending what happened in the reading is a level 1, no matter how hard it is. That's one thing that you're going to constantly hear around this DOK is it does not matter how difficult the material is. Knowing the formula of how a star is made in the universe, knowing the formula is crazy. It's a crazy formula, by the way. I don't know it, but I assume that it's a crazy formula. Is level 1. That is very difficult. But simply knowing the formula is still level 1. Predicting, using the formula appropriately, using the information from that text appropriately to predict what will happen next, that's level 2. Did you have a question about that?
I was going to say, using that same example, being able to say, oh, because this atmosphere is like this, a star may be formed. That's a level 2 kind of knowledge.
Exactly. So they have the information, the general information that it takes a certain atmosphere for a star to be made. Okay, level 1. Looking at multiple different atmospheres and deciding which one is appropriate for a star to be born, level 2. Okay, using the information. It's not just repeating it. If they're repeating, they're still at level 1, and that is necessary. That's another thing that I want to say. I think that a lot of times people come out of these saying level 1 isn't important, or usually there's also a conflict at some point where everyone thinks that I'm trying to say level 1 is not important and that our students don't need level 1. Of course they need level 1. If they don't know what that atmosphere is or what atmosphere is itself, then no, they will never get to the point of level 2. But also when my teachers here are presenting, one piece of it is doing both of those things at the same time, helping them to know that information and gain information while they're also using it, or using the information that they already know. I know someone in the back said, tapping into their prior knowledge, right? So you're tapping into that prior knowledge, which is usually a level 1, but helping them to move to that level 2 and level 3 using that information that they already have. So it's not until you know all of this information, you do not know how to use the information, so I can't give you anything else. It's happening all at the same time. Yes?
The second one, explain the cause and effect of historical events or a historical figure like Eli Whitney. They might know who he was, they might know whose invention, but what was the unexpected consequences of this invention? That would be level 2.
Great.
And that
Awesome.
everybody knows what that was.
Yes. If not, then please talk to him later on, because we are not discussing that right now. Anyone else have a burning desire to give an example, please?
I was just going to feed off of that as well. I just did one recently with imperialism in Africa,
Okay.
and how basically like gave them the backstory of the 16th century, how they were destroyed by the slave trade, so therefore it made them vulnerable for Europe to go ahead and invade. So therefore Europe came in, divided them up, and then I continued on past that into the everlasting social impact that still plagues them still to this day. And, and still how they be alive as well. So
Yeah, sounds like you're even trending on level 3 there, sir. Good, great. Are there any questions around level 2, around the blending of level 1 and level 2? I heard some conversations where people were definitely talking about going from one level to the next. Any questions around that? Did anyone hear something at their table that they feel is very important for the class to know or the class to think through? I heard something over here outside it. What you were talking about with something around, I heard something that you said around real life. I think that's a contextual piece that helps with DOK level 2. So I want you to give your example, but I also want people to know that just making it real life does not make it level 2. It gives it the context. I don't know what you're saying. I just heard you say that, by the way. I don't know if it is a level 2 or not. But it gives them a better context to trend towards level 2. And it helps them also to see that they're using level 2 all the time. So go ahead, give me your example. I didn't hear the full example, by the way.
Because I'm actually a math instructor at the academy.
Okay.
So we were talking about signed numbers. And I said, basically, if I were your boss, I would want you to be my employee, because I said, I owed you $20 and I owed you $2 more. If you had done the math that way that you had done it, you're saying that you owe me $18. So I was just saying, I would love to be your boss, because a dishonest boss would be screwing you over. So, we're trying to make sure that you're using this and doing it the correct way, and just kind of tailoring it with money and things like that. That kind of brought it back to them, even dealing with decimals, things like that. That kind of.
Awesome. So one way to make sure that level 2 is really impacted is to have them think through that process. So what does your negative 18 represent? And even having them possibly draw a representation. Where is that money at? Is it in your pocket or is it in someone else's pocket? Having them kind of come up with, why does this not make sense? Right? And so that's that level 2. Yeah, because they'll start clicking for them. One thing that No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Oh, no, I thought you were saying something good for
No,
everyone.
no, it's fine. I use it in the same context of using like a debit card, debit or credit card, and then I even go as low as not necessarily low, but like going to like convenience stores and stuff like that, looking at your change receipts type thing. Not if you don't understand math, how you gonna and I even bring it to the cultural levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, that helps with the context, and it helps to make that next step that they're making a little easier of a step. But again, I do want to say that just making it real life is not level 2. I believe in the back I heard someone say, if the potatoes cost this much per pound and it's that many pounds. Well, no, we were actually backing up. She said multiplication, knowing multiplication, level 1. She knows and understands that. Level 2 is, you have potatoes that cost this much per pound. How much would your potatoes cost? That's still not quite level 2. because they're still just doing the operation. Where it becomes level 2 is asking them, how do you figure out how much your potatoes will cost? How do you figure out which operations will you use? Why are you using that operation? What within this question makes you know that you're multiplying? Why did you choose multiplication? And as teachers, one thing that is also sometimes hard for us is that we forgot that we do that in our heads. You do it in your head. You know multiplication because you're going through some steps. We're helping to draw our students out to hear what they're thinking, to think about what they're thinking, and to figure out why they're thinking that. You had a question?
Like the difference, I'm trying to really grasp the difference between level 1 and level 2. It's like level 1 is knowing that, and level 2 is kind of understanding why you utilizing that.
I like that. 'Cause- yeah, I like that. Yeah, thank you. That is, some of you guys, again, you don't have to do this at all. Why am I up here?
I think too, when we're talking about level 2, particularly in terms of questioning, we're really moving students into the whole realm of inference, justifying as inferences. Okay. And helping them to think, why might this be logical, or why isn't this appropriate or logical? So it's an integrative process, I think, at level 2, much more so than at level 1 for sure.
Oh, for sure. Level 1 is really, really factual, facts, and information. Level 2 is what are they doing with those facts and information. Okay? That's another kind of way to think through it.